Hello from Edinburgh. Now, you've heard of the Copacabana, but have you seen our copper coprolite in the distance there? The Turd Royale, the Grand Budapest Hotel? No, I'm not going to give you a tour of it. But here we are walking through the aftermath of Storm Eowyn. Devastation, as you can see. That's not supposed to be like that. And that's not supposed to be like that. That traffic light was straight yesterday. That's the National Gallery. We are wending our way slowly but surely to the Scott Monument, where I'm going to be talking a little bit about Robert Fergusson, who was the subject of my last podcast and my last video. More scenic views of the National Gallery here. It's actually a beautiful sky, but let's just focus on how devastated the city is. As you can see, the people are reeling, sobbing in the streets. There's Scott, hiding coquettishly behind his pillars. But we're actually not here to talk about Scott. So the Scott Monument, as you might know, doesn't just commemorate Scott, it also commemorates a lot of his characters, but a lot of other writers and poets, and their faces are mounted on the top of these pilasters. You're not going to be able to see them very well, but I'm going to edit in a close-up of Fergusson's face, because he is one of the featured poets, along with people like James Hogg, Robert Burns, Byron, Alan Ramsay, Tobias Smollett, and John Home, author of The Douglas. There's another moody shot of Edinburgh's ruin. Some of the crows of Eowyn there, cackling in glee. But we're going to make our way to the Old Town now. We're going to look at Fergusson's headstone, which is in the Canongate Kirkyard. Now, as it is Burns night, there is a bit of a Burns connection here. That's not supposed to be like that. Oh God, that's not supposed to be like that. Not the home of contemporary furniture. You've left contemporary furniture without a hymn. Anyway, here we are, Fergusson's statue, made by the sculptor David Anand. I was talking a little bit about that on the last video, but we're going to go actually into the kirkyard. And as I said, it is Burns night, so there is a Burns connection. Now, when Burns visited Edinburgh in 1787, he came to the kirkyard looking for the remains of Fergusson and was dismayed to see that there wasn't any memorial to him, and he was just kept along with the what he called ignoble dead. This prompted him to offer to pay for a proper headstone. I'm just trying to go through somewhere here, but no, it turns out to be a dead end. Here is the headstone that Burns paid for, that Burns wrote an epitaph for, which is carved on it there. I was going to release a podcast today for Burns Night on Burns's epitaph for Fergusson. That's been a bit delayed with the Storm Eowyn. You know, it's caused all kinds of problems with the pod waves. There's a little plaque at the foot of the grave that Stevenson contributed, and there's just a bit more information on the back. But as I say, I'm going to do a podcast about the epitaph, which is longer than it is seen on the headstone. He wrote 2 more stanzas, and he wrote a few other poems about Fergusson that I'm hopefully going to talk about as well. Just opposite Fergusson's headstone is a cameo of Alexander Runciman, who painted him. We talked about his portraits on that last video. If you want to hear more about Fergusson, my last podcast was on the Daft Days, one of his sort of breakthrough poem. And like I say, look out for the next episode, which will be about Burns and Fergusson both. Until next time, stay safe. It's mad out there, and happy Burns night.